All right. Well, everybody, thank you for coming and joining us today for the monthly community call for V DAO. Today is August's monthly community call. We're going to be going over a few things. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and then we can get started. All right. Can everybody see that okay? Perfect. All right. So again, today is August community call for V DAO. On today's agenda, we're just going to be going over real quickly the goals and objectives for V DAO. We're going to go over some highlights over the successes that we've had. There's been quite a few over the last month or so. Then we're going to dig into hosting, what it is to host a V Community Meetup, what a V Community Meetup is as well, circle update, and then how to get involved, followed by Q&A, or just kind of opening things up for a broader discussion with all of you. So V DAO's goals and objectives. So the general mission here at V DAO is still the same. It's V DAO's mission is to incubate regenerative network state communities and solutions. And the way we're kind of going about doing that is through initially education and awareness. So as I was explaining to Joshua here just a second ago before we kick things off, was we have a regular cadence of virtual events that fall in line with this kind of ethos of education awareness. So we have our monthly community calls, our Twitter space events, also our lunch and learns, and then our community voices events. Alongside that is community and connections, building community. And a big part of that is surrounded by what we do for events. So we kind of started things off at V DAO with the virtual events, and then have recently implemented our IRL events with the intention of really growing and connecting our communities together and finding like-minded individuals who are supportive of the V DAO mission and want to contribute and help and grow the mission overall. Kind of a part of our goals and objectives here is to establish token-based solutions alongside of or behind products and incentives. So one of the things that we are strong believers in for what blockchain can offer is realigning incentives. And one of the ways that we're looking at doing that is to have a token-based solution for driving regenerative living initiatives or regenerative initiatives and moving the needle in the right direction. And how do we start to address the negative externalities that exist due to the meta crisis? And we really strongly believe that that's built behind community education awareness, and then of course also adding in the incentive layer. Getting into the highlights of what we've been doing for the last month. It's been pretty amazing. A lot has really taken place. So on the virtual event side, looking back for the last month, back on June 25th, we had a lunch and learn solar tech and energy storage with Nathalie, Patty, and John Ruth. It was a really, really amazing event. And kind of kickstarted this whole renewable energy discussion within the DAO. Ideas around like VPPs, virtual power plants, around community solar in general, the unique ways in which you can develop a load dump system utilizing Bitcoin mining, which then incentivizes the building a larger array than what your capacity actually needs or calls for. And then on July 2nd, we had a community voices kind of following up on that lunch and learn with John, Steph, and Al, called Going Solar, really highlighting each one's individual experience and knowledge on what it is to kind of take the next steps to go residential solar on your own home. John highlighted, what his experience was, the process of talking with the solar reps, going through the installation process, and kind of what was out there, his general experience. And then as a representative of solar installation, Al kind of highlighted what the process is and kind of how to think about going, or how to go about thinking what system works best for you, um, how to even maybe do some of that work yourself, when it makes sense to bring in a contractor, and these kinds of things. And then Steph highlighted, how these all impact the grid, and kind of at a larger, more macro scale, which was, again, a really good event. And it was just a nice follow-up to the June 25th Lunch and Learn. July 29th, we had Tour Space, Building Through the Meta Crisis with Kevin Owaki. Kevin really highlighted that he liked the fact that V DAO isn't necessarily about sense making. We're not trying to do the big brain, figure out what the problem is. We're really focused on building regenerative network states and pairing that with permaculture and leveraging local community to build solutions for local issues. And he really liked the idea. It kind of fits into the sort of narrative that we've been putting behind V DAO recently, is, talk a little less and build a little more. Really start putting these things into action. And that's what we're all about, is enabling local communities to take action. For IRL events, we had some pretty amazing things take place over the last month and a half. You can see by the side here on the photos, there's numerous photos from different events that we've had over the last 6 weeks or so. June 21st, we had our first V Community Meetup in the Bay Area. And that was a spectacular event. And out of that was born this idea behind land purchasing, and how do we do that as a community, and how do we set it up to be a regenerative process and regenerate the land and utilize it in different ways, things like educational purposes, etc. On June 24th, we had V Community Meetup in Jersey City. And then on the 27th, we had the Boulder Blockchain Meetup, V Community Meetup, with Kevin Owaki and the folks out in Boulder, which was, from what I understand, an amazing event. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend either one of those meetups, but I am looking forward to hosting my own meetup here in Minnesota here shortly, hopefully either at the end of September or beginning of October. July 8th was our big sort of first real big event, and that was done at ECC, called Building Network States Adams Edition. This was done in partnership with the Build Cities team. It was a very successful event. Over 140 people attended. Great list of speakers. Probably, I might be a bit biased here, but in my opinion, the best list of speakers that you would have found at any of the events at ECC. At the event, we had Joseph Lubin, who did a fireside chat with Mark, where he said, join V DAO as a way of really getting involved in the network state sort of movement. And like, if you really wanted to build around this sort of idea around network states, then to join V DAO. July 26th, we had the Building Network States Bitcoin edition. That was down in Nashville. And then on August 3rd, we had the V Community Meetup, the Prospera edition, which just recently happened. You can see up in the pictures there in the top right corner is Eric, who was good, gracious host of V DAO's first V Community Meetup in Latin America. And he's got the gardener of the garden down there at the St. John's Bay property, who gave the group a tour of the garden. We're all about having fun and building at the same time, and we've definitely been doing that. One of the cool things that happened at ECC, actually, if you look at the top in the center there, is a band came to play kind of out of nowhere. A bluegrass band came and showed up and played at the venue for the happy hour, which was really, really cool. Another thing I'd like to mention that happened at the ECC event was Rob had a really amazing workshop. There were several workshops there. Rob had one on autonomous regenerative properties. And we'll talk a little bit more about what autonomous regenerative properties are here shortly. So in terms of like what we have coming up for events for V DAO, August 13th, we have a Twitter Spaces, Building Long Term with Mart from C Labs. On August 20th, we have a Lunch and Learn Functional Soil Health with Neil Smith. August 27th, we have a Community Voices Sustainable Fashion with Pranav. And tomorrow will actually be added onto that as well. Really excited for that one. It should be very interesting. The fashion industry is known to be a relatively high pollutant due to microplastics and stuff. So things that we can do to start winding down the level of pollution from different industries is obviously a wider benefit to all. And then September 3rd, we have our community call. For upcoming in real life events, we have the V Community Meetup Alps Edition, which is on August 23rd. I'll have Tamara kind of share about that during our events circle update in a little bit. She is the one that's leading this meetup and really done a great job in getting things set up and organized for this. All right, so hosting a V Community Meetup. So for those of you that might have been around for a little while and seen that we've been hosting these different meetups in local areas. So, I just want to give you guys an understanding of what they are, how anybody can really host, what the requirements are to host, and how to be reimbursed and how to apply for hosting an event. If you give me just one moment, I'm going to go ahead and pull up another screen that kind of dives into this a little bit more in detail. And if you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to hop in and ask or drop it in the chat if you prefer. I'm happy to take any questions now or at the end. All right.
Just a shout out for the ECC event. It was awesome. You guys did a great job. Great panels, great activities, good music. It was fun.
Yeah, it was great to meet you, Gardner, in person. That was like one of the cool things. So for me personally, it was my first actual like in-person conference and event, blockchain focused event. So I got to meet a lot of people that I've been talking to for years, but finally got to meet them face to face, and it's a whole different vibe. It's really something else. It's strange how you go from talking to somebody online, never meeting them, then meeting them in person, and it feels like you've known them for forever. I mean, you have. It's strange, but it's really cool. All right. Can you all see my screen? Is that sharing? All right, perfect.
Yep.
So on the V Community portal, we've got a new section called V Community Meetups. It is somewhat under construction, but we have the basics available, which is the important pieces. If you go into the host your own V Community Meetup, you'll find some general information about what a meetup is, the purpose of these meetups. So really the purpose of these meetups, we can start there, is to bring people together who share a common interest in regenerative living. High tech, high touch, and high nature is kind of how we view that regenerative living. It's really about having this regenerative lifestyle, which is built upon harmonious relationships between humanity, tech, and nature. So how it works is V DAO will reimburse the cost of social gatherings. The only requirement is that hosts share a brief intro to V DAO. And I want to also add on here that the other requirement is that you become a V DAO contributor in order to apply to host one of these V Community Meetups. The process for applying to become a contributor is, I would say, extremely low friction, relatively informal. It's a matter of filling out a general membership application and then scheduling a call with Chris, who is not here currently, but who I assure you is very friendly and easygoing. And it's more about just connecting and kind of understanding where you see yourself fitting into V DAO, and how you see yourself contributing. So yeah, I basically what you want to do is you're going to choose a venue location, and the venue location can be really anywhere. It could be parks, could be a garden, could be a cafe, could be a brewery, could be a rooftop, could be a beach. It really could be anywhere. Your imagination here is the limit. We make it as broad as possible to not put any limitations on individuals, because obviously in every area it's a little bit different. What they have access to might be a little bit different compared to what somebody where I live might have access to. And then you want to submit a proposal. The proposal you'll find is down here. It's integrated into the page. It's relatively easy. Then you will go through, update the event flyer template, which will be given to you, promote the event via social media, and then you will have that. There's a template here which you can use to welcome guests to the event. And then, of course, take a group photo and share it to the V DAO Discord. And I would also add that if you're hosting the event, make sure that you're keeping any receipts for the event, for the cost of what you're bringing to the event, whether it's food, drinks, whatever it might be, the cost of the venue, etc. And then that's something you would be able to share with the governance team and with the DAO to be reimbursed. So again, the purpose of the gatherings are to bring people together that are interested in regenerative living within their local communities. Gatherings are just an opportunity to really foster connections and introduce new local community members to the V DAO and its different initiatives. In terms of who can attend, we suggest that people aim for at least 10 participants. And yeah, I mean, it's a really simple process, to be honest. It shouldn't take a whole lot of time. Obviously, put some effort into it, but it's meant to be as simple as can be. And of course, you'll have the full support of the DAO if you have any questions along the way, need any help filling out the form, need help in terms of promoting the event, etc. That's what we're here for, to really help you out along that. And then also, meetup proposals will be shared here as well. And it just has the basic information about the meetup, and then it'll have like a stage of approval, like what approval part, what stage in the approval process it is currently in. Go back to, oh, 1 second. So I'm going to talk a little bit about getting involved. And I'm sorry if I'm kind of going through this relatively quickly. I just want to be able to leave enough time for any questions or open discussion at the end. This is just really meant to be quick updates, and notifying everybody of what's happening and what's available. I'm going to go ahead and share this screen again. So this is where I'm going to hand it over to Tamara, if you'd like to kind of cover where we're at with the event circle. It's a relatively new circle. Maybe you can explain what the focus is, and maybe highlight a little bit about the upcoming event.
Yes, of course. So we had our first circle meeting last week. We're now around like three contributors and plus Chris and Ben. And basically what we'll be focusing on is on one side, supporting larger events. So now we're thinking about, okay, after ECC, what is the next large side event we want to do? And then obviously also all the smaller events, if it's like in real life, any V community meetups and so on. If you want to also, if you want to get involved in events, you're more than welcome. And the next in real life event we are having is in the Alps, actually around my corner. Chris is going to be attending, and some other well, interested parties, and it should be a lot of fun. It's going to be on the top of the mountain, and we're going to do a 1.5 hour hike there, eat some local food that's grown there, so it should be good fun. Any questions?
That sounds great. I wish I could make it.
Next time.
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Ben.
Oops, sorry. Yeah, I was on mute. I was just gonna say, likewise, I feel FOMO every time one of these events pops up. It's like they're always in these like beautiful locations and doing really cool things. Prospera had the garden tour of their property over there at St. John's, and now there's this amazing hike that's going up to the mountain to check out this really cool property. Doing some really cool things and trying out the locally grown food and stuff. So I'm jealous. I wish I could go.
You're going to Korea. Could be worse.
That's true. That is true. I'm swapping out one for the other, I suppose. Thank you, Tamara, for sharing that. And for those of you who maybe aren't familiar, Tamara is the lead of the event circle, and really, leading that effort, leading that circle. So. And then we have the Autonomous Regenerative Properties pod that's being led by Gardner. Gardner, if you feel comfortable or are willing, maybe you could share a little bit about what that pod is all about.
Yeah, I mean, this is an effort to templatize the concept that, we are all looking for to some degree, in having IRL locations, properties that people can go to and learn about regenerative systems. Ideally, this would be different locations around the world. I've always imagined something here in the Bay Area. It seems like a really good place and a really good audience for something like this. And the goal is to create a template where people can start to generate awareness on how to purchase and manage land together. And so we'll be kind of going through some different ways that we can achieve these goals, with V DAO kind of supporting in the background, and start to bring different groups together and create kind of a playbook that people can start to look at and utilize in their own locations. I didn't have anything prepared. I didn't know that I was going to be asked to talk about that. We're still kind of putting the pieces of this together, so I hope that was clear enough.
No, that was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, it's really about bringing together a team of folks to look at how to go about the land purchasing process. Whatever legal structure that might also include. How to do the regenerative design, how to implement that regenerative design, and really have this playbook that other communities can then take and then replicate those successes. And yeah, develop different plots of land for regenerative purposes. Amazing. All right. So that will take us here to kind of a general community assistance. What can the community do at large to kind of support V DAO? Maybe some areas where people can get involved or start to get their feet wet with getting involved. The first one being, obviously, I think the easiest way really to support V DAO's mission is to support us on our social platforms. So we have LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. We do have a Farcaster. It's not heavily being used just yet. So on all 4 of those, you know, like, comment, repost, it really helps to spread the word and leverages the algorithm to gain more exposure into what we're doing and hopefully grow the community that much more. Number 2 is any suggestions that anybody might have in the community for a Twitter Space guest, somebody that can come in, take a specific topic or take the project that they're focused on and building on, and bring it to a Twitter Space to talk about and really highlight the work or highlight the topic and how it relates to regenerative network states and the things that V DAO is building and focusing on. It could be anything from like governance, or it could be a solar project. It could be, you know, a network states project, different things, right? That kind of fit within the sphere of what V DAO is working on and building towards. Number 3 is questions of the week. Always welcoming community proposed questions of the week. I think those are the best of all the questions that we ever do come up with. It's always the community ones that are proposed that seem to do really well. And really, it's the community questions are like things that people in the community are interested in. I could ask, you know, tons of questions, but they might not be things that everybody else is interested in looking into or diving into. So it's better to have those come from the community if possible. And then number 4 is host a V Community Meetup. We really want to encourage people who are interested to fill out the proposal, host a V Community Meetup in their local areas. If you have any questions in regard to this, reach out to myself, Chris, Tamara. I would actually say go to Tamara and reach out to her about these, as she is the events lead. This is really something we want to push forward. It would be ideally where we get to a point where it's a V Community Meetup happening at least once a month. That would be the goal. And then if you do want to become a contributor, and of course, in order to host a V Community Meetup, you need to become one. Join the Discord, find the Apply Here channel, and complete the form. Or you can scan this QR code here. It'll take you directly to that type form where you can fill out the application and then book a call with Chris. And then I'll be the one that helps finish the onboarding process. It's really simple. Again, it's fill out the form, book a call with Chris. Once that's been done and completed and you become a contributor, it's something you really want to do, you're interested in doing, then I'll finish the onboarding by bringing you into the contributor onboarding channel in Discord, providing you with a DAO member card on the Notion, which you will fill out, and then you'll be put into the main contributors channel on the Discord as well. And that kind of really wraps things up. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, just open for discussion, feedback, ideas. This is a great time to really do that. Be happy to answer any. Yeah, Joshua, go ahead.
Hey, man, this is beautiful. I love it. Meetups all day. And you guys have really shaped it very well to be able to support that for those that are out there trying to get people together IRL and also virtually. So love how you package it so far. What is your approach on really gathering resources across multiple projects? So if we're putting together a meetup up here with a variety of projects, and I can really gather a sizable group of other sponsors, supporters, co-host type of relationships, do you have any thought on that as far as it just being more than reimbursing a person who's funding the cost for it, or how can we kind of expand that so it scales?
Yeah, so are you thinking like a larger event where there's multiple sponsors who are contributing to enabling that event to take place? That's a really good question. I don't know if I have an answer right off the top of my head. I would say that we're open to the idea and exploring like how that would work. Obviously, if you have something in mind, or have a few folks that want to do something like this, I would say go through the current process for a V Community Meetup and kind of list these kind of items out within it, and then we'll probably schedule a meeting with you or whoever it is that wants to do this and brings about that idea, to kind of take it forward. But maybe Tamara might have some thoughts on this as well. Tamara, do you have anything that you maybe want to share on that idea?
She freeze.
She might be having a bit of a connection issue. But yeah, I mean that's we definitely want to be able to scale. And currently, looks like she might have put something in the chat here. Oh no, Gardner, got to run. But thanks for the update and looking forward to the next phase. Thank you, Gardner, for attending. Thanks. Cheers.
So I've been on the build side as you guys have been working on ETH and everything, Brussels. I put together a little media team to do interviews that then went there and covered that with Varam and that crew. And so then I just did Nashville also. So obviously when you get into the scale where we're really getting broader reach, especially when you go into other industries outside of kind of the crypto adjacent things that have been happening so far, then there's a cost, of course, for the event itself, but then who are we able to bring in there and how do we actually scale that out for communications? I'm thinking like the scalability of those things. So maybe I'm getting ahead of it a little bit here because obviously like nobody really knows where I'm coming from. I'm a little bit left field here, but yeah, I've been in this thread. We started having our own Loki meetups a while ago. We've had some really awesome in-person ones and we have virtual ones running. And so one of my biggest emphasis is like, how do we actually put that together and get the broadest impact across all these different people that are really trying to do the same thing? How do we coordinate that for the broadest impact, right?
Yeah, so I mean, currently, if I remember correctly, we are focused on 3 of these V Community Meetups minimum per quarter. One smaller side event, sort of like a happy hour type event that we want to support, and then one large scale event of like 100 plus attendees per quarter. I think what you're talking about sounds like it'd be somewhere in between either the kind of happy hour size event or the full day side event. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say it's between social versus programmed. So social being more of a mixer. We were calling them Loki mixers, more of a social thing. Kind of Nashville was more of a mixer type of design. And then more of a programmed one where you actually have some panel speakers. Because then I'm also thinking on the media side of how we actually take that and turn that into content and push it out for distribution after that.
Yes. So that's what we did at ECC, and that's basically what we plan to do. We do plan to do, I think, one of them every quarter. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ben. Yeah, basically we want to do one side event every quarter, and so right now we're thinking about like what conference of the many conferences that are coming up to attend. Like might be DEF CON, probably not Token 49, unless we find someone who is there that wants to host something, but none of us is going. Or there might be something upcoming in the US, which is more convenient for like most of the current members. Exactly. So, but there we do have like panels and speakers and what's so not. Whereas like, as you mentioned, yes, the V Community Meetups and also maybe the 2-hour side events or like drinks, whatever, are more of a social mixer. Exactly.
Yeah, I think, Joshua, good thing to do would maybe to schedule a call to like have a call with Tamara, myself and Chris, maybe. Not sure who needs to be there for that call, but to kind of have a call and maybe discuss if you have some ideas on different events that we could do together, work on together. Happy to kind of field those potential collaborations and see what's possible. Obviously we're very open to various potentially unique events. So yeah.
Yeah, there's exciting stuff happening. So this is my first time actually dipping into your space, and I've really enjoyed what I've been observing as I've been digging in so far, and it's super aligned, and the calls have been ridiculous. And I have these multiple audiences. It sounds like you're still kind of mostly paralleling crypto space or blockchain space in your events, what you're focusing on, which is great. And I'm really actually across like 4 different audiences, very disjointed, separate audiences, which is the regenerative, intentional, and blockchain, and the DeFi side and governance side. So, anyways, I'm super excited and definitely want to set things up and collaborate with you guys on this. And I appreciate you putting that model together, because it really is a huge step in the right direction for saying this is how we can actually support the effort of these things happening.
Yeah, I'm glad that you joined us today, because I know I think it was you that I reached out to about coming in to do like a Community Voices event.
Yeah.
Or lunch and learn, and really excited for that to have come up and happen. I think it's in December, if I'm not mistaken. So looking forward to that. But yeah, also looking forward to other opportunities as well with you guys.
Perfect.
Steph, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say what's up, Joshua. I'm glad that you're here. I don't think we've been able to bump into each other yet, but I'm curious, if there's other people within the 4 other many dozen ecosystems that you operate in that also, where can you bring those people in here? And there's people here that would also love to attend some of the communities that you're a part of. So I would say feel free to like cross pollinate and share your communities that you feel strongly about. Because yeah, I think we have, if you're finding deep alignment here, there's going to be others that will find deep alignment in the ones that you're in. So I would just encourage that and welcome you. And the other people on this call meet at this point fairly regularly. So as you probably know, there's no depth for which you can volunteer and participate in things, and always appreciate more feedback. So welcome. I don't know at what capacity you've been here for a while, but it's good to meet you.
Yeah, thanks, Steph. It's all these things are kind of like the multi-year overnight successes. So we've been at it for about 4 years now, and then this book came out and put some name on something, and then more people got motivated. So the movement keeps rolling, and we're building obviously on the momentum of generations past, which is a big part of what we're emphasizing, is that we're using so many things to actually activate what we want that are already legacy solutions that are here. We're just turning them internally, I guess, get the return back in here. But yeah, a bunch of those spaces, my focus is how do we integrate all these audiences? Because I'm going from really powerful call to call with people that are at critical points of solution making, right? The holacracy circles, for instance, hanging out with all those guys and what they're doing with the PowerShift ecosystem. The PowerShift ecosystem provides a whole bunch of solutions that are pretty much ready to activate for projects. The funding question. So anyways, I'm all about like, how do we just absolutely flood the whole entire space with solutions and integrate and connect all of these communities to work together for impact.
Yeah, and a lot of the solutions are part of like governance structure, like pod structures, like little group structures, and what's actually working and why is it working.
And their integration points. Like that's where the strength comes from, right? Is from the integration of all of the different pieces of the ecosystem. So it's those touch points, just like in a circular holacratic approach, those touch points are the multiple touch points are kind of what create the resilience throughout the network.
Yeah. Well, I still have a event that I need to throw. So Ben, there will be a form coming through on my end, and that will be in outside of Philadelphia, United States. But see you tomorrow. Yeah, I hope, Josh, that you're thinking of taking V DAO up on throwing a event that crosses several of your ecosystems.
Yeah, and again, like I'm in the middle of build anyways, so there's another one that's already, engaged in some capacity, and I'm with PowerShift. Definitely, they're looking at opportunities to engage, and so the more I just started pushing a bunch of media, which we need to have actual media coverage of events and showcasing projects and people in those spaces. So 100%. Yeah, I'll start sharing some links in here, and we have actually definitely will want to talk with you about a potential big event in San Diego that we're trying to set up here in the next couple months.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. If there's like an opportunity to collaborate on an event together, happy to do so. As Steph said,
With these
cross-pollinate
guys.
key. What's that?
Aptera Motors. I've been an
Oh.
ambassador with them for a while, so we're trying to set up an event at the factory there as they're rolling the production intent vehicles off.
Amazing.
And GeoShip Domes is down there. I'm connected with them as well, so those are all kind of pieces of the pie.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Yeah, we definitely need to hop on a call and see what we can do and start collaborating.
I just started posting these clips also from Brussels, and Angelo's got them as well. I just sent them over to him.
Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah. So your guys' YouTube is at Loki Brand. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, could you remind me what Loki means? It's Italian for something, I believe, right?
It's Latin for places.
Latin, okay, Latin for places.
Yeah, so it's places. We're focused on creating the places for all the digital communities to land on, essentially.
Very cool. All right. Did anybody have any other questions or any ideas you'd like to share? Maybe some feedback. Yeah.
I am going to join Spirit DAO's contemplative practice in about 12 minutes. So if anyone wants to hit on the spiritual side of blockchain and stuff, I'll just drop a link in there. No pressure, but that's it from me, guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Steph. All right. Well, I think we can go ahead and call the meeting done. Really appreciate everybody showing up, and great to connect, Joshua. Is it Joshua or Josh? Which do you prefer?
I go by either, many names, many people. So Josh works, Joshua works. I'm happy with all those.
All right, cool.
Josh, good to meet you.
Pleasure. Steph, if you can, I don't know what happened to my screen. I got frozen up here, but I definitely would be interested in finding the link for the spiritual side of blockchain. I've already had some fun explorations in that area.
Sure.
I can't see the chat right now for some reason. I think my screen is stuck.
Okay. Are you in the V DAO Discord?
No, I'm working my way in there, so I will jump in there and keep an eye out for you and connect in there.
All right. And Ben, what channel would be best to post something that is not V DAO in there? Or I could
No, I'll just
Ben,
reach out to you and you can send DM.
I mean, you could
okay,
share
yeah,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
If you want to, you could share it in ideas and feedback or town square. Either one. I think it's a general thing. It's no biggie.
I'll connect with you through DM.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a link to the Discord, you can either find it on Twitter in our bio, or you can also find it at vdao.io, which is our community portal. And then if you look in the quick links drop down, you can find the Discord link.
Yep. Perfect. I just started tracking, so I'll be plugging in.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you again, everybody. Looking forward to the next thing. We have the next event coming up on next week, Tuesday, with Mark from Cello, digging into building long-term, what that means, and why it's so important, especially when it comes to regenerative solutions. So, all right.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, guys.
Bye, everybody.